What's good, Commanders fans? Man, I can't wait for Sunday, man. Possibly could be 2-0, our first time since, 2001 with Rex Grossman. And then once again, we're underdogs. This is the first time the Lions have been favored in a game in the last 24 games that they played. And the last time they were favored, they lost 20-0. So I actually love that they have us as dogs in this game. I love it. And of course, NFL Network, the majority of those people have picked us to lose this game. So I'm gonna get to Jack Del Rio and Jamin Davis comments, and of course key matchups, keys victory, as we always do. So I quickly, I want to get to the injury report real quick. I'm gonna pull that up here real quick. So there's some good news for us. I'm happy that they've reported that Cole Turner was a full participant in practice. He will be playing on Sunday. I'm happy to hear about that. John Allen will be playing. Trey Turner was a full participant today. Jamin Davis participated. He was a full participant. This from Ben Standing. Only Cameron Curl and Wes Schweitzer have a status designation for week 2 as questionable. Cam Curl with his thumb and Wes Schweitzer with the hamstring injury in game 1 last week. So those are the guys to watch out for. But just looking at the full injury report and the Lions too, I know a lot of people were monitoring DeAndre Swift and his situation. He was questionable, but he did practice because he wasn't practicing. He didn't practice the last couple of practices this week. And he's the X factor. He's the best player on that team. He's the engine to that offense. We saw what he did to the Eagles. He cut the Eagles up pretty bad. But he's gonna play, man. He's gonna play. I'm not banking on injuries or anything like that. So on their side, Jonah Jackson did not practice yesterday. The Lions are practicing as I speak right now. Frank Ragnow, their center, he did not practice yesterday. DeAndre Swift didn't practice yesterday. Michael Brockers was limited on Thursday. Taylor Decker was limited on Thursday with a calf injury. Ifitu Melifonwu, their safety, was limited with a hamstring injury. He's going to play. Amani Oruwariye, he was limited. He was getting cooked by A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown was doing whatever he felt like doing to Amani Oruwariye. Sorry, I'm butchering his name. He had a good year last year, though. Amani, I'm just going to call him Amani. He had a good year last year for the Lions, but he got cooked on Sunday. I think Terry, Curtis, or Jahan. And I love how Terry and that mic'd up, he was like, you can't bleep and guard me. They can't bleep and guard you. And they can't bleep and guard you. I said it backwards, but you know what Terry said to his guys, Jahan and Curtis. So, and then Julian Akwara was a full participant today, the linebacker. He's going to play. So that's the injury report. So before we get into my keys to victory and key matchups, everything like that, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. So this is how it works. You can download the app. You use my promo code RealEdOliver. You get 100% deposit match. So it's real easy. You pick 2 to 5 players. You do over-unders. Last week, I gave you the over on Gibson. It was like 57.5 receiving yards or rushing yards. I hit that for you guys, or I gave you guys that to hit on. Terry McLaurin, over 57.5 receiving yards. I don't think I picked that. I think it was another receiver. I picked Gibson to get over 57.5, so I definitely was correct on that. But I was wrong on Joey Sly, 1.5 field goals. We just didn't kick any field goals. We just scored touchdowns, which is what I'd rather see. So, but this is how it works. You download the app, or you can go online. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on your entry. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code RealEdOliver. You type that in when you download the PrizePicks apps or go online. That's PrizePicks.com, promo code RealOliver. Use my promo code down below in the description. Use that link for PrizePicks down below in my description box. So Carson Wentz, his over-under against the Lions on Sunday, and remember, it's in a dome, so good weather. Both defenses are questionable or suspect. The Lions defense, they got cut up last week by the Eagles. And their corners, I think Terry, Jahan, and Curtis, and Antonio Gibson, and J.D. McKissick, and Logan, and Cole, and even John Bates, and maybe even Cam Sims. I think these guys are going to get big yards and chunk plays against the Lions defense for sure. The over-under for Carson is 239.5 pass yards. I would pick the over on that. Carson, 1.5 pass touchdowns. I would take the over on that too, but I think Antonio Gibson over under 60.5 rushing yards is easier. I think Antonio Gibson is going to have a good day on the ground. McLaurin, 57.5 receiving yards. I would take the over on that. 4 catches for McLaurin. I would take the over on that as well. This one is easy right here. Curtis Samuel, 4 catches over under. I would take the over on that too. Curtis, and then Logan Thomas, 3 catches. I would take the over on that too. And then Jahan Dotson, 3.5 receiving receptions. I take the over on that too. Logan Thomas, they got 31.5 yards, as you can see here. And then Jahan Dotson, 36.5 receiving yards too. I would take the over on. I would take the over on everything. I think it's going to be a shootout. I really do. I think it's going to be a shootout for sure. So the history with the Lions, the storylines for them, we all know they did Hard Knocks. They had Eminem on the show, Jalen Rose, Davis. I got to go back and watch that episode. I did not watch the episode. We know Dan Campbell. He's a crazy guy. He's an emotional guy, crying after they lost last year. He did a crazy onside kick against the Eagles, which was questionable, which was a bad move in my opinion. But we know Dan Campbell. We know what kind of guy he is. He's an emotional. He's an aggressive. He's a guy that gets fired up. He's a fiery guy. So you got to be ready. Be ready for trick plays, going for two, all kind of stuff that Doug Peterson did last game. I wouldn't be surprised if Dan Campbell tries to do something like that too. Jared Goff, you can't sleep on him either. I think he's a solid quarterback. He went to the Super Bowl as well. He's won playoff games. He's won multiple playoff games. I can't sleep on Jared Goff. He's not a bad quarterback at all. I know this team, they were bad last year, 3-14. They've lost a lot of close games in recent years. Like they lost 8 games within one score last year. And we haven't won in Ford Field in a while. We just haven't. We're like 0-4 in the last 4 games of Ford Field. But forget all the history. I think we have the better roster. I really do. It's really close. I love being dogs in this game. So my first matchup, of course, is Terry versus Jeff Okudah. If Jeff Okudah's guarding him, I like Curtis against Amani. I like Jahan versus Amani. I like them against their corners. Hughes. I like them against every corner or DB that they have. Hughes, Mike Hughes. I love that matchup. Willa Harris. I love our wide receivers against that matchup. I love Antonio Gibson against their linebackers. I love J.D. McKissick against their linebackers. Now, their offensive line is legit. They do have a lot of guys that are questionable, but I think they're going to play. I think they were just resting for the most part, but we'll see. Their O-line is legit, man. I think the weakest link really is Logan Stenberg. If anybody, but Penny Sewell, he's legit. Jonah Jackson's really good. Taylor Decker's really good, too. So Montez Sweat is going to have his hands full. Same thing with James Smith-Williams. I think Montez Sweat should have a good game today, too. But the big guys in the middle, Deron Payne and John Allen, they got to eat. Deron's got to play like he did last week for us to get a dub in this game. He's got to play really well. Don't have a lot of depth. We did sign Donovan Jeter, but we still don't have a lot of depth at the DT spot behind these two guys, our two Bama guys, honestly, after letting Tim Settle go and Matt Ioannidis go as well. We just don't have a lot of depth there at the defensive tackle spot. But John Allen and Deron Payne, they got to show up big in this game. First of all, they got to stop DeAndre Swift. That's one of my defensive keys. Ross St. Brown is legit for them, too. He's a really good receiver. DJ Chark is good. Josh Reynolds is good. Jamal Williams is good. They got weapons on offense, man. They upgraded, and Jamison Williams isn't even healthy yet. So they got a legitimate offense. Like, the Lions upgraded. They're no slouch at all. They're a legitimate team. They're a legitimate offensive roster. I like their offense. They drafted Aiden Hutchinson, the pass rusher, had a bad game. Not a bad game. Had a rough game last week. But the Eagles had 4 guys who scored rushing touchdowns. That hasn't done in the opening game. That hasn't been done in a while. So the Lions got cut up on the ground for sure. And A.J. Brown went crazy on their DBs too. So let's get to keys to victory here. So for the offense, I said spread the ball, get it out. You know, I thought Scott Turner did a really good job last week, getting it to Curtis, didn't get it to Terry enough, but getting it to Gibby. I love that opening drive. I love the opening drive where they got it to Antonio Gibson on that slant, on a crossing route. That was a beautiful pass from Carson Wentz. So spread the wealth, spread it out, get some matchups on some linebackers. I like the matchup against their young rookie against Malcolm Rodriguez. He's a good linebacker, but he's a rookie. You got to test him. 6th round pick. Get J.D. McKissick involved more, too. I want to see J.D. get the ball more, too. I want to see Cam Sims get the ball a little bit, too. I didn't think he was involved a lot. But one thing, use their aggressiveness against them. They blitzed a lot against Jalen Hurts last week. They were I think they blitzed the most out of all teams last week. They blitzed on 45% of their snaps last year. So use their aggressiveness against them. Let's see some tight end screens. I like the screen to Armani Rogers. I want to see a screen pass to a tight end screen to Cole Turner. Get the ball to Cole Turner. Antonio Gibson, some screen passes here and there. J.D. McKissick as well. Just some quick passes to get Carson comfortable, of course. Get the ball out quick against their blitz, against their aggressiveness. Now, the Lions, they played man 49% of the snaps. They played cover 1 and cover 0 a good amount of times last week, and I think that would be great for this wide receiver core. That's why I got us putting up a lot of points. Simply put, turnover battle, no fumbles. Curtis Samuel fumble that really hurt us on that drive where we were driving down the field. We were in the Jaguars territory, and that's reverse or whatever play that Scott Turner called. Curtis Samuel, he fumbled the ball. We were in their territory. That really hurt us. No fumbles, no picks from Carson. I know it's going to be a roller coaster ride. It could be, again, from Carson, but no picks, no fumbles. That's the easy thing to say. Attack their linebackers. I already talked about that. Getting those mismatches there. And I thought Scott Turner did a good job of that. That bunch formation. Dan Orlovsky pointed out that that formation that we were in where we had 3 guys on one side. I think get more creative, switch it up. Again, I like what he did in the first 2 drives. Start fast. And if we smell blood, put our foot on their necks. I thought we got a little too conservative against the Jags at one point where we could have really put them to bed there. I already said use their aggressiveness. Gibson, use him as a weapon. I already said that. And don't be scared to give him the ball as a runner. I still believe in Antonio Gibson. I know the fumbling's a concern, but I'm still a believer in Gibby, man. I still think he's a good running back. I think he's a solid running back. We sent him last year against the Seahawks last year, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when we beat them. Basically, the 4-game winning streak, he was running in between the tackles. I thought he did a heck of a job when he wasn't fumbling the ball. And even the Panthers game, he fumbled, but he bounced back. So you're just going to have to trust him until Brian Robinson gets back. And I know Scott, he can get a little too cute. And like I said, I like him airing it out with the three guys, with the big three, as I call them. But don't be afraid to run the football on this team because you can gash them and get some rushing yards for sure. All right, so let's move over to the defensive side. I think Cam Sims is a sleeper in this game. I want to see him get some targets. He only got one target last game, but I think he's a guy that can break out in this game as well. And of course, protect Carson Wentz. Lano did a good job last week. Sam Cosmi was good for the most part. I thought the interior was good. Ray did a good job. So offensive line's got to stand up and be stout again. Defensive side of the ball, I already said DeAndre Swift, man. Got a key on him, man. Jamin Davis matched up on him in coverage. He's got to be ready. He let Eddie run past him. Got cooked by Christian Kirk. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But DeAndre Swift is going to be, you got to stop DeAndre Swift. At least contain him, at least slow him down. He cannot go for 144 yards, rushing yards like he did against the Eagles. If they do that, then it's going to be a tough day for us. It's going to be a very tough game to win. Blitz and get pressure on Goff. Jack Douglas got to switch it up, man. Show some exotic coverages and blitz and get some pressure. I like the safety blitz from Ben St. Juste. I thought Ben St. Juste did a good job getting pressure on Trevor Lawrence, Jerron Payne, all these guys. Disciplined rush lanes. I thought they all played together in the second half. Montez Sweat had led the league in pressures against the Jags last week. So I thought the D-line did a good job. They got to keep it up. Tackle and communicate. Armon-Ra St. Brown. He's a guy that's shifty. Can make guys miss in a phone booth as well. Not the shiftiest guy in the world, but he's tough to bring down. So Ben St. Juste got to be ready. Derek Forrest has to be ready. Do not put Jamin Davis in the slot on a linebacker. If it's third down, then let's get Derek Forrest. If Cam Crow's playing, let's get that 3 safety look out there. If Jamin Davis has to be benched, it is what it is for personnel. I think Jack and Ron, if Jamin has another, I don't even think Jamin he didn't have a great game. Let's be honest, he didn't. He did get cooked twice. Travis Etienne beat him again. He did miss a tackle in the run game. But yeah, they're not going to be afraid to put David Mayo or John Bostic in there if they're fed up with Jamin Davis. Cole Holcomb wasn't great either, to be honest. Our linebacker play, it leaves a lot to be desired, but. We got to tackle DJ Chark. Nothing deep, man. We got to communicate. Bobby McCain, Derek Forrest, Cam Curl, Will Jack, Kendall Fuller. I want to see a bounce back game for our corners. Kendall Fuller was getting cooked against Christian Kirk and Marvin Jones, all kinds of guys last week. He's got to step up against DJ Chark. He's a fast, speedy receiver. So I want to see Will Jack and Kendall Fuller, man. I want to see these guys step up, man. I want to see them step up. I already said tackle and communicate. Third downs, just got to get off the field on third downs. It's going to be huge for us, as always. That's Jack Del Rio's Achilles heel. That's this defense's Achilles heel. We got to get off the field on third downs. Joey Sly, of course, got to make your kicks. That's another key. And then I got a feeling there's going to be some big fourth down decision-making by Ron Rivera that he's going to have to make, whether you're going to have to trust in Joey Sly to make like a 48-yard kick or a 53-yard kick, or do you want to go for it on 4th and 2 and 4th and 3 and take the field goal or punt when you're on your own 49 or be aggressive. And I believe in this offense that we can convert. You know, would John Williams be the guy that they call in for a 4th and 1 or a 3rd and 1? How is that going to shake out? So Ron's got to be ready for these decisions and be ready for that. Situational, clock management, things like that. I think Ron was not good at that last year. And I wanted to say that in my last video, but I think there's going to be some situational football where Dan Campbell struggled with the onside kick last game against the Eagles. And I think Ron Rivera's going to have to make some clock management decisions in this game. Where it's going to be tough, where it's going to come down to him and some coaching decisions. And no silly challenges like that challenge last week from Ron Rivera. I thought that was a bad challenge. So yeah, it's going to be a high-scoring game, guys. It is. I don't know what the over/under for the points are, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get in the 40s in this game. Both defenses did not look good last week, to be honest with you, but both offenses look pretty darn good. Now, the Lions were down. It wasn't garbage time, but you know the Eagles backed off a little bit. The Lions were down for the majority of the game, and then Jared Goff brought them back, and they finished, 35-38. He threw a beautiful pass to DJ Chark. So I'm not getting too hyped up because they were down for the most part in the game, but they basically played comeback. But we need a big game again from Derek Forrest. We need a big game from Cam Curl, big game from Bobby McCain to just spread the wealth. Carson Wentz played with the utmost confidence, man. He played well. We need Carson Wentz from the first quarter, not the Jekyll Hyde Carson Wentz, but we need that first quarter Carson Wentz. We need that fourth quarter Carson Wentz. And he did miss Jahan on one play where Jahan was wide open on the sideline where he in the beginning of the game, and then on the left side too, where in the beginning of the game where he missed him. So our guys will get open. I have 110% confidence in our receivers to create separation and get open. I want to see a lot of slants for Terry on Amani. If Amani's guarding him, I want to see a lot of slants from Jahan too, because he was getting cooked by A.J. Brown on those slants last week, and I think that could definitely work for our wide receivers for sure. So not sleeping on the Lions. They're a good team. I do have us winning this game 32-29. I have us winning 32-29. So I don't have the antacids, just like Ron Rivera was talking about with Carson Wentz with the up and down roller coaster. But I got us winning 32-29 for sure. I got us winning 32-29 in Detroit. I think Joey Sly hits a game winner from about 50 yards. Logan Thomas is going to have a solid game too. So I'm excited to see Cole Turner. I really am. I can't wait to see Cole Turner. But Charles Leno, Sam Cosmi, they got to be ready for Aiden Hutchinson, the rookie. So they got to be ready for him too. So Jamin Davis, Jack Del Rio called him out, man. It is what it is. I'm not a fan of him calling him out in front of the media when we all know Jack Del Rio hasn't been the best coach either, especially on third downs. A lot of dust-ups on third down. But at the same time, you know, if Jamin Davis is not doing what the coaches want him to do, but at the same time, he put him in a tough situation against Christian Kirk. But at the same time, you're going to be guarding slot receivers at times. There's not going to be a time where he's only just guarding tight ends. So Jamin has to be ready for that. Not only that, he was getting cooked. He got cooked by Travis Etienne too. So they're looking at that on film, and they're talking to Jamin about that. And they played Jamin in the last preseason game too. So they said he had a good training camp, but it just hasn't translated yet. So, 4.48 speed. He's a guy that covered Kyle Pitts in college. They should use him as a blitzer more. I thought he did a good job blitzing against the Jags, but of course they called a penalty on that. So Jack Del Rio, he's got to look at himself in the mirror too. So honestly, like him calling out Jamin Davis, I know he wants to see him play better, or just test the young man and see how he reacts mentally. Can Jamin Davis use this as fuel and to the fire and bounce back? We'll see. And then Ron Rivera backed up the comments too. So they're both, we're supposed to trust these guys since they're former linebackers in the NFL, but they just couldn't evaluate it right in the draft. They got it wrong his rookie year, using him as a Mike linebacker. He just wasn't ready for that. He's an outside guy, a guy that just you want to use his speed and let him be free, rush the passer, guard tight ends, just fly around. The best game that he had really was the Kansas City. The best moments that I saw. Solid game against the Giants too, but TJ Hawkinson too. Almost forgot about him. You cannot forget about him too, man. Tight ends usually cut us up. Thought we did a good job against Evan Ingram, so I don't want to forget about him too. But yeah, I got us winning 32-29. I got us being 2-0, and then get ready for Philly, man. I can't wait. So let's get this dub, man. A lot of Lions fans have been talking real spicy, real reckless, man. Real reckless. I don't know. They're the guys that ruined Calvin Johnson's career. Matt Stafford. Guys leave the Lions and get better all the time. Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson should have left, and unfortunately he retired. Barry Sanders there wasted his career with the Lions. So Lions fans talk real spicy, talking about like the Washington franchise is trash. I know we've been bad, but the Lions have no room to talk. Zero room at all. All right, y'all. Hell's Commanders. Have a good weekend. Peace.